our money is going to be always worth the same. Honest money. Thou shalt not steal, government. The other thing we're going to have is we're going to have protective tariffs for our manufacturing. Come to ProBaptiCal and set up your manufacturers. We only have 10% income tax on corporations in our country, not the highest corporate tax rate in the world as it is in this country. What a disgrace. We have no protective tariffs, but the highest income tax rate for corporations in any country in the world. I think it's more than Japan now. What a disgrace. Do we not see, my white brothers, that this government's out to destroy us? And what's it going to take for you to resist it? When you have no more money, no more health, no more food, what's it going to take? In ProBaptiCal, we're not ever going to have that problem. We have protective tariffs in ProBaptiCal, so when you set up your corporation in my country, just want you to know for the first 3 years it's tax-free. Have at it, baby. Make your profits, spend your money, build new buildings, hire more people. That's right, because your first 3 years is going to be free. In some countries, it's 7 years. And then as you become taxable in a corporate status, it's only going to be 10%. Just 10%, and that's it. 10% of your gross. Don't have to have all these deductions and stuff, just 10% of your gross. That'll make you more reliable and more thoughtful how you spend your money because, hey, everybody is going to pay 10% if you're a corporation. Individuals are not going to pay an income tax because, you see, we individuals are natural persons created by God, and we individuals are going to pay an apportion tax. That means the rich don't pay more and the poor don't pay less. I have to laugh at these fools on the news. Oh, the rich need to pay their fair share. The fair share of the rich man is the same share of the poor man. The Bible says, the rich shall not pay more and the poor shall not pay less. Universal equality in humanity, in humanhood, in our manhood, regardless of how much money you make when it comes to taxes, and that's a portion tax. For example, if our budget is $1,000 a year and there's 1,000 people that live in ProBaptiCal, everybody pays $1. Doesn't matter if one man's a millionaire and the other guy's poverty-stricken. Tough. And if you don't pay your tax, you don't vote. Bye-bye. In this country, they passed an amendment where if you don't pay a tax that you owe, you still can vote. What a sin. It's an amendment to the Constitution. No. So in ProBaptiCal, we have all these protections in place. And the other thing is, therefore, when we have this, we're going to have a laissez-faire free enterprise system. A laissez-faire free enterprise system. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And I have this little pamphlet written in 1948 from the National Association of Manufacturers. And it's out of New York. And here's what the beginnings have to say. When the stork picked you up, slung you comfortably from its bill, and began winging his way earthward with you, the chances were 15 to 1 against you. But you were lucky. You hit the jackpot. You live in the United States of America. This means that you live better than the people of any other nation on earth. Nowhere else in the world could you acquire so many of life's material riches in return for so small an expenditure of effort. Now, this is 1948 now. In no other country will an hour's labor buy so many of the necessities, comforts, and luxuries of life. Never in history has any people known a standard of living as high as that which Americans enjoy today. What we have. America harbors only 1/16 of the Earth's population, but she produces nearly 7/16 of the world's goods. Her people own 46% of the world's electric power, 48% of its radios, 54% of its telephones, 59% of its steel capacity, 60% of its life insurance policies, 85% of its automobiles, and 92% of its modern bathtubs. And I would also add toilets. That's right. My black friend, my Hispanic friend, you can thank God for the white man, the white Protestant men who invented a toilet for you to flush. And a sewage disposal system that you don't have to put all that stuff in honeypots like the Chinese do to this day. Yes, it is statistically true that in the 150 years of her dynamic, adventurous life, America has made more progress than all the other nations have made in 6,000 years. Sounds like he believes the Bible. If we would read this today, then all the other nations have made in 2.5 million years, or whatever the old they say man is. That nonsense. Why? What has she got that the rest of the world has not? She has only 6% of the world's area. Other nations have more land and more people. Some are more richly endowed with natural resources. Several enjoy a general level of health, education, political freedom, and native ingenuity approximately comparable to our own. Carry the comparison on down the line, and you will be forced to the conclusion that the one thing which America has that the other nations lack is the American system of free enterprise. We had it, this American system of free enterprise. That means the businessmen compete one with another to produce the best product for the cheapest price, and the customer is king. And the government keeps its filthy paws out of production, manufacturing, wage and price controls, and all that sin. That she live in America is circumstance, but that America lives as she does is not. For a century and a half, Americans have planned it that way. What is free enterprise? The American system of free enterprise, on its record, indisputably is the most progressive and completely democratic form of capitalism yet devised by man. And by the way, there's two kinds of capitalism we must remember. There's the cartel corporate capitalism that rules Wall Street and that robbed and raped and pillaged us in 2008 and continues to do so. And then there's the true laissez-faire free enterprise capitalism, which is competitive, which brings wealth. It's the biblical form of economics, because you see, in that form of economics, thou shalt not steal. Only laissez-faire free enterprise capitalism is not involved in theft. Cartel corporate capitalism is absolute theft, because they all get together and they all secretly meet in council in their secret Masonic lodges and their Knights of Malta meetings, and they decide to work together to fix the price of a commodity that they all control. For example, Verizon. Did you know Verizon is run by the Knights of Malta? That's right. Did you know Rite Aid is run by the Knights of Malta? That's right. Did you know that what's the other one? Not AOL, but the other, not Sprint, but the other, the telephone producer or telephone manufacturer. They're also run by the Knights of Malta. AT&T. Did you know that? So that's why the prices are the same, nigga. You're not allowed to have any competition for cell phones, for pricing, for any of that. Because the Knights run all the corporations and they fix it. And woe to the man who tries to stop it. Like building an electromagnetic motor or a motor that runs out of the ether of the air. Oh no, woe to him, because he's going to step in to the monopoly of the Knights, and they're going to put a contract on him. They're going to send the jackals after him, the CIA killers after him, and if they can't get him, they're going to send an army after him. That's what happens when you have cartel capitalism. Total monopoly on production and in control of the state, control of the government and its army to send off their CIA and their Navy SEALs and their Delta Force after you. One of my friends was SEAL Team 6. He told me that's exactly the way it is. Not so with true free enterprise, laissez-faire free enterprise. It is a system under which all the productive faculties of the nation are owned directly by the people themselves. The people alone, not their government nor their politicians, determine what wages shall be paid for what services, and without governmental coercion, they decide how much capital shall be invested in what competing enterprises at what prospective profit. That's free enterprise. And by the way, I'll never forget listening to Irwin Schiff years ago. I took my two little boys to see him. And he said, wage and price controls put the little black children out of work.